Hey everyone, welcome back to SwitchTop. 2026 is shaping up to be an incredible year for Switch gaming, and today we're counting down the top 20 best AAA games you need to play on Nintendo Switch this year. These are the big budget titles that showcase the best of what the Switch has to offer. Let's jump right in. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. The game delivers a first-person action-adventure built around deliberate exploration, atmospheric level design, and precise lock-on combat that rewards positioning and timing over raw reflexes. Samus Aran feels heavier and more physical than ever, with classic tools like the Morph Ball, Grapple Beam, and multiple visors returning to support layered puzzles and combat encounters. Scanning remains essential, feeding environmental storytelling and uncovering lore that makes every location feel purposeful. Beyond introduces new psychic abilities that expand traversal and combat, allowing Samus to manipulate objects, reveal hidden paths, and add strategic depth to firefights without breaking the series' methodical pacing. World design leans more interconnected, blending focused interiors with broader traversal spaces that encourage backtracking and mastery of new abilities. Storytelling stays subtle and immersive, unfolding through environments, logs, and carefully framed encounters, placing isolation, discovery, and mystery at the center of the experience. The result is a confident evolution of Metroid Prime, deep, atmospheric, and mechanically refined, offering a premium single-player adventure that respects longtime fans while feeling modern and forward-looking. The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild remains one of the strongest AAA experiences available on Nintendo Switch, thanks to its radical approach to open-world design and player freedom. The game drops you into a vast version of Hyrule with minimal guidance, encouraging exploration driven by curiosity rather than quest markers. Core mechanics revolve around climbing nearly any surface, gliding across landscapes, and interacting with a deep physics and chemistry system where fire spreads, metal conducts electricity, and weather directly affects combat and traversal. Combat is flexible and tactical, offering multiple weapon types, bows, shields, and environmental options that reward smart positioning and experimentation over brute force. Rune abilities like Magnesis, Stasis, and Cryonis blur the line between puzzles and combat, letting players solve challenges in creative, personal ways. Storytelling is deliberately understated, focusing on atmosphere and discovery as Link uncovers fragments of his lost memories and the history of a fallen kingdom through exploration, environments, and optional encounters. Octopath Traveler 0 is refining the series' tactical, turn-based foundations, while introducing a stronger sense of progression and cohesion. Combat revolves around the familiar break and boost systems, encouraging players to exploit enemy weaknesses, manage turn order, and unleash powerful abilities at carefully chosen moments, now deepened by expanded party management that rewards smart formations and synergy between characters. Exploration feeds directly into progression, as recruiting companions with distinct jobs and skills opens new combat options and traversal possibilities. The narrative centers on rebuilding a destroyed hometown, shifting the focus toward restoration and community alongside traditional adventure. Town-building mechanics tie into exploration and combat rewards, allowing players to place structures, manage resources, and gradually watch their home evolve as the story unfolds. Unlike earlier entries that emphasized mostly separate character arcs, the story here feels more unified, weaving personal journeys into a central conflict involving ancient powers and the fate of the world. Combined with striking HD 2D visuals and a rich soundtrack, the experience balances classic JRPG structure with modern systems, offering depth, strategy, and emotional investment in equal measure.
What should I do? It did be strong! Press the attack! Now's the time!
Mario Kart World is expanding the classic formula with a bold, interconnected world design. At its core, the game retains the tight controls, readable handling, and chaotic item-based combat the series is known for. But races are no longer confined to isolated tracks. Instead, players drive seamlessly between courses across a massive shared map, transitioning through cities, plains, water routes, and hazardous environments that keep momentum flowing between events. New movement mechanics such as wall riding, rail grinding, charge jumps, and limited rewind options add a skill-based layer to racing, rewarding mastery beyond pure item luck. Traditional modes like Grand Prix, Versus, Time Trials, and Battle return, while additions like Knockout Tour introduce long-form races with elimination checkpoints that heighten tension. Free roam allows relaxed exploration, collectibles, side challenges, and social play, giving the world space to breathe outside competitive racing. With support for up to 24 racers simultaneously, every match feels denser and more unpredictable. Rather than focusing on narrative, the game emphasizes playful discovery, speed, and spectacle, delivering a larger, more connected Mario Kart experience that still feels instantly familiar. Yakuza 0 Director's Cut is blending hard-hitting brawler combat with an exceptionally strong, character-driven crime drama. The game follows dual protagonists, Kazuma Kiryu and Goro Majima, each offering multiple distinct fighting styles that can be swapped on the fly, giving combat a flexible rhythm that rewards timing, positioning, and creative use of the environment. Street fights feel weighty and cinematic thanks to brutal heat actions that turn everyday objects into weapons and punctuate battles with dramatic flair. Outside combat, dense urban districts function as interactive playgrounds, packed with side activities, eccentric sub-stories, and fully realized minigames that range from arcade classics to business management systems, adding surprising depth and tonal variety. Storytelling is one of the game's strongest pillars, weaving personal ambition, loyalty, and power struggles into a tightly paced narrative that balances intense drama with moments of humor and absurdity. Exploration, combat, and narrative constantly feed into each other, creating a world that feels alive and unpredictable. The Director's Cut presentation enhances an already rich experience, making Yakuza 0 a standout single-player journey defined by style, substance, and memorable characters. Super Mario Party Jamboree expands the classic Mario Party formula with sheer variety, flexibility, and social energy. The core gameplay still revolves around turn-based board progression, dice rolls, coin management, and star collecting, but it's elevated by a massive selection of over 100 minigames that blend button controls, optional motion input, and quick reaction challenges. Board design feels more dynamic, offering multiple paths, interactive events, and rule variations that keep matches unpredictable while remaining accessible to newcomers. A large and expressive character roster adds replay value, letting players approach boards with different dice options and strategies. Beyond traditional party mode, the game introduces structured single-player and cooperative experiences that provide goals outside pure competition, alongside robust online modes that support large-scale multiplayer chaos and team-based challenges. Custom rule sets and competitive-focused options allow groups to fine-tune the balance between skill and luck, making it adaptable to both casual gatherings and more serious play sessions. Dragon Quest I and II HD 2D Remake. Both adventures preserve their traditional turn-based combat roots while introducing quality-of-life improvements that smooth pacing, clarify objectives, and modernize progression without diluting their old-school identity. Battles feel more engaging thanks to expanded mechanics that introduce earlier access to abilities, smarter enemy encounters, and deeper tactical options, even when controlling a lone hero. Exploration across Alfgard and neighboring regions is richer and more dynamic, with enhanced world layouts, added locations, and subtle guidance that encourages discovery rather than rigid direction. Dragon Quest I focuses on a solitary hero's journey tied to the legacy of Erdrick, emphasizing atmosphere and personal resolve, while Dragon Quest II broadens the scope with a full party, expanded dialogue, and stronger narrative cohesion between characters. Storytelling benefits from added scenes and lore that deepen the world without overwhelming the simplicity that defined the originals. Wrapped in striking HD 2D visuals and a timeless musical score, the remake honors its legacy while offering a polished, approachable entry point for both longtime fans and newcomers. Super Mario Galaxy plus Super Mario Galaxy 2 delivers a masterclass in 3D platforming built around creativity, precision, and constant mechanical invention. Both games center on gravity-defying level design, turning small, spherical planetoids into compact playgrounds where movement feels fluid yet demanding, asking players to master momentum, camera awareness, and timing with every jump. Progression revolves around collecting power stars by completing focused challenges across a wide range of galaxies, each built around a clear gameplay idea that evolves as you explore. Mario's spin attack, long jumps, and wall kicks form the core movement set, while star bits act as both collectibles and interactive tools during combat and exploration. Super Mario Galaxy 2 expands on this foundation with sharper difficulty tuning, more dynamic level layouts, creative power-ups like cloud and rock forms, and the addition of Yoshi, whose abilities introduce new layers of mobility and puzzle solving. Storytelling remains light and atmospheric, framing the adventure through whimsical presentation and environmental context, rather than heavy exposition, with added storybook elements giving subtle emotional weight to the cosmic journey. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is combining massive scale, layered mechanics, and a powerful character-driven narrative. Gameplay revolves around a real-time combat system, where positioning, cooldown management, and chaining abilities are key, blending MMO-like flow with deliberate tactical planning. Characters can freely switch classes, encouraging experimentation and deep party customization, while coordinated attacks and combo systems reward smart timing over button mashing. The interlink mechanic adds a dramatic strategic layer, allowing paired characters to merge into stronger forms mid-battle, shifting momentum during intense encounters. Exploration across the vast world of Ionios feels purposeful, with sweeping environments, hidden paths, and side quests that meaningfully expand both gameplay systems and character development. The story follows soldiers from rival factions trapped in an endless cycle of war, focusing on themes of identity, mortality, and freedom as bonds form between former enemies. Rather than relying on spectacle alone, the narrative invests heavily in its ensemble cast, letting quiet moments and shared struggles carry emotional weight. Trails in the Sky, First Chapter. Gameplay blends exploration with a hybrid combat system that shifts from field movement into tactical turn-based battles, emphasizing positioning, turn order, and smart use of arts and crafts rather than raw aggression. Character growth is shaped through the Orbment and Quartz system, allowing flexible customization that meaningfully affects abilities, magic, and party roles. Progression feels deliberate and rewarding, supported by side quests that aren't filler but extensions of the world and its people. The story follows Estelle Bright and Joshua as they travel across the Liberal Kingdom as junior members of the Bracer Guild, gradually moving from small local jobs to uncovering political intrigue and personal secrets that hint at a much larger conflict. Narrative pacing is patient, prioritizing dialogue, relationships, and subtle development over spectacle, which gives emotional weight to even quiet moments. Enhanced presentation, modernized visuals, voice acting in key scenes, and quality of life refinements make the experience accessible without losing its classic identity. The result is a grounded, emotionally engaging adventure that rewards attention, investment, and curiosity, setting a strong foundation for one of JRPG's most respected long-form sagas.
Monsters around here now.
Must have ran away in fear from the great Bracer Estelle.
You're not a bracer yet. Yeah.
We're almost there. An exam, huh?
Come on, it's too late.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe remains one of the most refined and content-rich racing games on Nintendo Switch, offering a near-perfect balance between accessibility and mechanical depth. Gameplay is built around tight, responsive driving that rewards precise drifting, smart item usage, and strong track knowledge across a massive selection of visually distinct courses inspired by the series' legacy. The anti-gravity system adds a unique twist to traditional racing, allowing karts to ride walls and ceilings while encouraging aggressive racing lines through speed-boosting collisions. A two-item system deepens strategy by letting players defend and attack simultaneously, keeping races tense from start to finish. Beyond classic Grand Prix and time trial modes, the revamped battle mode introduces dedicated arenas and multiple rule sets that turn item chaos into focused competitive play. Kart customization, varied character stats, and multiple speed classes give players room to fine-tune their racing style, whether playing solo or in highly competitive local and online multiplayer. While the game doesn't rely on narrative, its charm comes from pure momentum, colorful presentation, and endlessly replayable design. Super Mario Odyssey is a landmark AAA platforming adventure that blends classic Mario precision with open-ended exploration and constant mechanical creativity. The core gameplay revolves around Mario's fluid movement set, long jumps, wall kicks, dives, and momentum-based chaining, which feels exceptionally responsive and rewarding to master. What truly sets the experience apart is Cappy, a sentient hat that allows Mario to capture enemies and objects, temporarily inheriting their abilities and transforming how traversal, combat, and puzzles are approached. This system replaces traditional power-ups with situational mechanics that encourage experimentation and playful problem-solving. Progression is driven by collecting power moons scattered across expansive, self-contained kingdoms, each designed as a dense sandbox packed with secrets, platforming challenges, and optional objectives that reward curiosity as much as skill. The structure supports both quick discoveries and deep exploration, letting players engage at their own pace. Storytelling remains light and charming, following Mario's globe-trotting pursuit to stop Bowser's latest scheme, while characterful NPCs, environmental details, and visual variety give each kingdom a distinct identity. The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom elevates open-world design into a fully systemic playground where exploration, creativity, and player expression define the experience. Hyrule is reimagined as a layered world spanning the surface, floating sky islands, and the vast depths below, encouraging vertical exploration and constant experimentation. Core mechanics build on familiar movement like climbing and gliding, but are dramatically expanded through new abilities that reshape how problems are solved. Ultra Hand allows players to freely build vehicles, machines, and structures from environmental objects. Fuse lets weapons and shields be combined with materials for tactical variety, and Auto Build streamlines experimentation by recreating past creations on demand. Combat and traversal become deeply personal, driven by ingenuity rather than fixed solutions, while shrines and dungeons challenge players to fully understand and bend these systems in clever ways. Resource management and crafting add strategic weight without slowing the pace. The narrative is more pronounced and emotionally grounded, following Link and Zelda as ancient secrets tied to Hyrule's past resurface, with story fragments uncovered through exploration rather than linear progression. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition delivers a sweeping RPG experience on Nintendo Switch that blends massive scale with deep systems and a strong narrative core. Gameplay centers on a real-time combat system that mixes MMO-inspired flow with tactical decision-making, where positioning, cooldown management, and smart use of arts play a crucial role in every encounter. Party members act semi-autonomously, encouraging strategic planning around roles and synergy rather than constant micromanagement. The Monado adds a unique layer to combat, granting foresight and powerful abilities that can alter enemy actions and shift battles in your favor. Exploration is a major pillar, with enormous interconnected environments built on the bodies of colossal titans, rewarding curiosity through landmarks, side quests, and hidden paths that make the world feel alive and cohesive. Quality of life improvements refine quest tracking and navigation, keeping long play sessions smooth and focused. The story follows Shulk and his companions as they confront ancient enemies and unravel the mysteries of their world, balancing epic stakes with intimate character moments.
Thanks, Ryan. That was a close one. Man, what were you doing wandering off by yourself?
Fire Emblem Three Houses stands as one of the most layered and rewarding strategy RPGs on Nintendo Switch, combining deep tactical combat with extensive character development and branching narrative design. Battles play out on grid-based maps, where positioning, terrain advantages, weapon types, and combat arts define success, while the Divine Pulse system allows limited rewinds to correct mistakes and experiment with smarter strategies. Outside combat, the game introduces a unique academy structure set in Garreg Mach Monastery, where you act as a professor responsible for teaching, training, and guiding students over a structured calendar, making long-term planning just as important as battlefield execution. Character growth is highly flexible, letting units develop into varied classes based on how you train them, encouraging experimentation and personal playstyles. Social mechanics are deeply intertwined with gameplay, as building support relationships through activities and dialogue strengthens combat performance and reveals personal backstories. The story places heavy emphasis on choice, beginning with the selection of one of 3 student houses, a decision that dramatically alters alliances, perspectives, and the direction of an escalating continental conflict.
Thanks.
My efforts are paying off.
Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles stands as one of the most respected tactical RPGs available on Nintendo Switch, combining deep strategic gameplay with a mature, politically charged narrative. Combat is built around isometric, turn-based battles where positioning, elevation, turn order, and terrain play decisive roles, rewarding careful planning over brute force. The expansive job system is the heart of progression, allowing characters to revitalizes classic side-scrolling Mario with a bold, creative twist that constantly surprises without losing the series' tight mechanical foundation. Core gameplay still revolves around precise running, jumping, wall jumps, and timing-based platforming, but the introduction of Wonder Flowers dramatically reshapes each level by triggering unexpected transformations such as shifting gravity, altered physics, musical segments, or entirely new rules that redefine how stages are played. These moments keep progression unpredictable while maintaining strong readability and flow. Level design encourages exploration beyond simple left-to-right movement, rewarding hidden routes, optional challenges, and clever use of the environment. New power-ups and badge abilities expand mobility and combat in meaningful ways, allowing players to customize how stages are approached without overwhelming the fundamentals. Multiplayer is streamlined and accessible, supporting cooperative play that feels supportive rather than chaotic, making it easy for mixed skill levels to enjoy the experience together. Story elements remain light and playful, framing the adventure around Bowser's latest scheme in the vibrant Flower Kingdom, with charm conveyed through animation, music, and expressive character design rather than heavy exposition. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment delivers a large-scale action experience that blends Musou-style spectacle with deep ties to Zelda lore and world-building. Gameplay focuses on fast, fluid hack-and-slash combat, where players control legendary figures such as Zelda and Rauru, mowing through massive enemy forces while chaining light and heavy attacks into flashy combos and screen-clearing special moves. Battles aren't just about raw power, as positioning, crowd control, and timely use of abilities play a key role in managing objectives across sprawling maps. Strategic layers are added through elemental effects, zonai devices, and coordinated attacks that reward smart timing and awareness rather than constant button mashing. Progression emphasizes character growth, letting players upgrade weapons, unlock new skills, and refine playstyles across a varied roster, giving combat depth and long-term motivation. The story is set during the legendary Imprisoning War, following Zelda's journey into Hyrule's ancient past, where she fights alongside its earliest protectors against Ganondorf's rising threat. Rather than a simple backdrop, the narrative actively expands the mythos, grounding the bombastic action in a meaningful wartime struggle filled with sacrifice and alliance.
Escape from his duties at the castle. Look there.
Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition stands as one of the most ambitious RPGs playable on Nintendo Switch, delivering a dense, choice-driven experience set in the neon-lit sprawl of Night City. Gameplay blends first-person action with deep role-playing systems, allowing players to shape V through attributes, perks, cyberware, and gear that directly influence combat style, mobility, hacking potential, and dialogue options. Encounters can be approached through gunplay, stealth, melee combat, or quick hacks that manipulate enemies and the environment, rewarding creative and tactical thinking rather than a single dominant strategy. The open world is packed with handcrafted missions, side gigs, and emergent encounters that flesh out Night City's factions, power struggles, and social decay, making exploration feel meaningful and reactive. Ultimate Edition includes the Phantom Liberty expansion, which adds a more focused espionage-driven storyline, new areas, and complex character arcs that deepen the game's themes of loyalty, control, and identity. Narrative choices are central, with branching quests and dialogue decisions shaping relationships and outcomes without relying on simple morality systems.
Scavs are still crawling. Clean it up, clean it out. You don't want to be bringing the target out under fire, and definitely don't want a slug in your back.
Donkey Kong Bananza reinvents the Donkey Kong franchise as a full-scale AAA 3D platforming adventure built around freedom, physicality, and constant interaction with the environment. Core gameplay blends classic movement, running, jumping, climbing, and throwing, with powerful new transformation abilities that enhance strength, speed, vertical mobility, and traversal, allowing Donkey Kong to adapt to varied biomes such as frozen caverns, volcanic depths, and dense underground jungles. A defining mechanic is large-scale terrain destruction. Players can smash through walls, dig tunnels, rip chunks of the environment apart, and repurpose debris for combat or movement, turning exploration into a tactile, reactive experience that rewards curiosity and experimentation. Levels are open and layered, packed with optional challenges, puzzles, secret routes, and collectibles that feed into progression systems centered on upgrading abilities and playstyle flexibility. Combat emphasizes momentum and crowd control, using both brute force and environmental manipulation rather than precision alone. The narrative follows Donkey Kong's journey beneath the surface alongside Pauline and various animal tribes, confronting the industrial threat of Voidco while building toward a larger conflict tied to familiar rivals. And that's our top 20 best AAA games on Nintendo Switch for 2026. Whether you're into racing, platforming, RPGs, or action games, the Switch continues to deliver incredible experiences this year. Which of these games are you most excited to play? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to SwitchTop for more Nintendo Switch content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.